All right. Good Monday morning, everyone. Yay! All right. So you guys are listening to Author Talk with me, Amy, Fern, Russell, and our lovely guest today is Ann Charles. That name just like flows. Ann Charles. I love it. But you guys, we hope you guys are having a great Monday and that we can make it better. But let me tell you about my weekend. Okay. I know. Whatever. Russell's going to give me a lot of hate on this. So be prepared. I went to my first Comic-Con as an attendee and not on the vendor side. Let me tell you something. I took my mother with me who was dying to go and my nephew with me who's 12, and we had the best time. So we went Friday evening, all day Saturday, and there were so many awesome vendors. There was this vendor there that had mystery licensed merchandise from different movies, games, all of this, and there were mystery boxes, and you picked which one you wanted, and you got at least 5 items licensed in the box. And that was the coolest thing. I got the Frozen 2 one for my girls, or my mom did. I got my nephew a lifesaver from, of course, Crimson Dawn. You guys know I love them. But it was so much fun. But Ewan McGregor was there, Stephen Amell, who plays Green Arrow, and you guys know I'm a sucker for Green Arrow. So I got my nerd on this weekend, and it was just so much fun. Like, it was just everything I thought it was going to be. No, Russell, I didn't dress up this time. Good morning, Greg. I didn't want to scare my mother on her first, Comic-Con, but I did tell her next time I'm going to. I'm trying to convince Josh to go. But the superhero car show and Comic-Con in San Antonio was fantastic. It was so well organized. The unlimited popcorn was so great. I don't know how many times we refilled it because it was wonderful. And UTSA football players were volunteering. You guys know I graduated from UTSA. So that was kind of cool to see all that back in action, though I did graduate a long time ago. We're not going to talk about when, but it was a long time ago. But what did everybody else do this weekend? Fern, what did you do this weekend?
So this weekend, I spent time with Ellen Seaton because she and I are doing a collaboration with through WIVLA, Women in the Visual and Literary Arts organization. So I'm doing a collage. I'm actually doing the art part, and she's doing the writing part. And so we got together to talk about the project and compare notes of where we're at. And then we decided to go visit Winter Street Studios, the Sawyer Yards Art District, and just
I love that
just
place.
kind of it had been forever since we just walked an art gallery and just took in art and just enjoyed it, just partook. And so it was great because we walked all of the different areas. Some of the studios were open, only a handful, but the walls there, the hallways are always full of art. And it was just wonderful. So I spent Saturday just taking in art, which was great. And then I worked on my art, which, doesn't really compare. Okay. It's pretty pathetic in comparison, but it was great. It's going to be a fun project. And, so yeah, I don't know. When they announced the collaboration thing, this image came into my head and I was like, okay, I need to just do it. And so I did. Crazy.
I love it. I love it. Russell, what did you do this weekend?
So I'm in Santa Rosa Beach, Florida today. I've been here all weekend. I'll be here all week. Put my pictures up.
I got
it. My son and I walked the Sunset Beach last night. My granddaughter, Vivi, this morning woke me up at 7 o'clock and said, "Pops, you said we were going to go get my whatever that thing is today."
Mama.
So she made me get dressed, take my coffee, walk over and buy this for her. Get it blown up. This morning, she's already at the beach. And this is all my granddaughters, my genetically identical twin grandbabies, and my Vivi. And this was getting them ice cream 2 nights ago. So we're busy. We're having a great time.
I love it. You're getting your granddad on, and it's just the cutest thing to me. I love it. And the fact that she woke you up. Oh, I just love it. When my kids wake me up, it's kind of one of those. Some days I like it more than others.
Yeah, but when it's your granddaughter, it's okay.
I know. My mom says,
especially when she says, "Get up, be with me, go buy me this. You're going to do it. It's good.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I'm so jealous of where you are. Anne, what about you?
I am so jealous of all of you because you guys had this, all of you had these amazing things you did this weekend. And here's my exciting list. Okay, besides writing and editing, because working on a book, always, you guys know that, how that goes. Called pack rat pod storage units because my mother-in-law is moving up north in Washington and I needed to help figure out why the pods aren't being delivered, why we're getting charged all this extra rent, all these crazy prices getting tacked on the bill. So I had to go through 3 layers of customer support to get to the one person that would help. So that was like hours. Then go out into my office where we're getting new flooring and help my husband tear out all the carpet and scrape up all that crap, which was so much fun and dirty and dusty. And I love that. And then after that, we have made the decision to change our banks. And I don't know, you guys know if you have a business and you have all direct deposits coming in and all your bills automatically coming out. Oh my gosh, we had to get a whiteboard and start planning out how this whole thing's going to go. Like we're taking over, a country or going to the moon just to change banks. So that was another half a day of just racking our brains for all the crap we have to do to make this change. And I'm terrified because Amazon has a record of sometimes giving authors trouble when they're switching their direct deposits around and different things. So now it's like, well, let's make sure we have enough money set in somewhere in case Amazon says, no, you're not really Aunt Charles. We're not going to give you your money for a while unless you prove it. So at one point, midway through, we said, why are we doing this again? Was there a reason we really wanted to do this? But there is legitimate. The bank we have is way up in Washington where we used to live, and we can't go to any branches. So it's time, down in Arizona, we got to be able to go to a bank after all every now and then. So that was my exciting weekend. I did watch the new Predator movie, Prey. I got to see that. Oh, that was so much fun. I love the Predator series. So,
oh yeah.
Oh man,
as soon
I
as I
loved
knew
it.
that existed, as soon as I knew that was out there in the world, I was like, ooh, I need to watch
I
that.
know. And remember in the very first Predator, at the end when he throws over the musket, the handgun musket as his
The second
souvenir.
Predator.
Well, in the commercial for Prey, I saw somebody with one of those, and I thought, I wonder if that's the one that 200 years later he throws over to the other human. So that was pretty cool.
It's exciting. So you've watched it, Fern, right?
Oh yeah.
And Rose, everybody has already.
Yeah,
All
we're
right.
nerds.
I'm late. Me too. But I was I do this thing where it's like, you have to get your work done, because if not, I would sit there on the couch all day long and just, watch movies over and over and over, especially the old ones. I've been hot like you guys, summer here in Arizona, and I have the thing out, the Kurt Russell thing, because I feel like I really need to cool down, and I'm going to watch the thing. And then I think, really, you're just looking for an excuse to just sit and watch this movie again.
When did you move to Arizona? Have you seen the monster dust storm? Has a monster dust storm, the one where 100 miles up, you see this wall of dust heading towards you. Have you had one of those yet?
I'm up in the mountains. I'm up in Prescott instead of down down in Phoenix where my brother lives. Yeah. I haven't experienced one because I'm like, get the heck out of there when I know it's coming, or if I hear anything, because I don't want to kill my car with dust and all, all the stuff. But they do show them on the news all the time, especially this time of year, because we're in monsoon season. So like every day this week, we're supposed to get rain, and we have bugs. We're going up against Florida for the bugs right now in Texas. Yeah, it's like huge cockroaches, huge everything are out. Our screen at night is like a science experiment if the light's on, But it's lasted about a month.
So we need to talk about our podcast for a second. Okay. And we are, like, to our surprise, top 10 independent book podcast in America. We were shocked at that. We're very proud of it. We want to thank everybody that's listening to us. We have more people listening to us during the week on the podcast than watch us on the show. Most people just listen to us. So we want to thank everyone for that. Amy, where can people find us?
Yes. So you can find us anywhere that you can find a podcast. Amazon Music, Spotify, iHeart, Apple, Google Play, just to name a few, Stitcher, all of those that you can find a podcast on. We are on Good Pods as well. But like Russell said, we are just honestly surprised that you listen to us, because we're just here doing it because we love it. We love talking to authors. But you guys are more than welcome to come over to our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, or follow any one of us, because sometimes watching us is more fun because we can be very animated, especially me. I talk with my hands and I control what comes out of my mouth, not what my face says. Okay, that's just how it's a full disclaimer. And if you were curious, I had people ask me this while I was at the Comic-Con. Are you always like this? My personality is a lot to handle. Full disclaimer, I am like this all the time. That's a whole thing.
I know. It's like poor Josh. Josh is your husband.
I am like this all the time. Okay.
She sells his motorcycles to buy family cars.
He married her. He made that choice.
I didn't even know.
Every time Josh comes home from work, there's another stray dog or cat in the house.
Okay, that is a true statement. That is true. I am an animal person.
Terrible.
It's a sucker. I did adopt a dog while he was out of town. He did come home early when I did adopt that dog. Fun fact, that is a true. The motorcycle was his idea. He still has a motorcycle. He didn't need to. He still has one. So I will not apologize.
He did not need to.
I will not apologize for that at all. By any means.
You see, Ann, how she admits everything.
I get it though. I have 4 cats and it's still not enough.
Oh my God.
We pick up cats when we travel. We'll go to places for book signings. And if there's kittens around, and we love to grab a kitten and take it on a road trip with us. It's so much fun, and it really socializes that cat. By the time we're home, it's real friendly because it's been stuck in a vehicle doing a road trip with us. So,
there you go.
Yeah, we've got a cat from Idaho. We just picked up this summer a kitten in Ohio. So yeah, we have 4. And my husband's like, I thought 2, was enough. And I'm like, maybe one more.
He needs to just accidentally tell you that the landlord only allows 2 cats, so you have to pick 2 to get rid of.
Oh, he loves them just like I do. I think. If I brought another home, that might be the final straw. But it's just, I'm always on the lookout because you never know. I mean, we live in Arizona. They go out. Our cats will get outside. So, sorry to say that sometimes they don't make it. There's a lot of critters here, and so I like to have plenty.
I worry about. I kept my son's cat for a long time, and one of the problems with letting your cats out is that they kill songbirds.
Right.
I worry about that. That's a bad thing.
I did not know that. And my black cat comes out, but he really just prowls because there's another cat out there and he's claiming his turf, I guess.
Yeah, he's doing his
thing. But I did not know that. I don't want him to kill my birds because I got bird feeders. My husband's a big nature person. Okay, so we got bird feeders, trees, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, he's a very cool dude. If you would just quit getting stray dogs so he's not afraid to leave the house.
Oh my goodness. Anyways,
so I have a husky. And so the possums in my neighborhood that used to come by my house have learned that it is not wise to cross this yard because she hunts them down, man. She hunts them down. And
she's as smart as a human. Vern's dog is as smart as a human.
Brilliant.
And she talks like a human.
She does. We have huge conversations. I mean, I love how huskies can just chat with you. But before that, I had Arwen, who was a German Shepherd Lab mix, and she was a bird killer because she would just nab them right out of the air. I mean, she just, I don't even know. Next thing I know, she's got feathers all over her mouth. It's adorable. But I mean, not for the bird, of course.
Yeah, not
for bird. There was a lot of bird corpses that had to be done.
I do have one of my cats. She talks like R2D2 to me. She's the only talker of the group, and she does this. So I always pretend I'm like C-3PO and I talk R2D2, because she's so funny that way. She's hilarious. But we've been doing. One of our cats had got into it. He thought it was the boy. he thought he was pretty tough. He was going to go out and stay out late at night and party. And he came home in the morning. Something had got him. I think he got into it with a coyote. And so, you know, we went through the doctor thing, and he's really skeptical about going out now, which is good. Learn that you're not, you know, you lost a life, you got 8 more. But they've been hanging out a lot inside because it's warm and, you know, so much hotter out right now with the summer. But I was looking out the back door the other day, and there goes under our back porch, there goes 2 skunks. Boo, 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 boo. And I was like, no. And then I started pounding the door, and I'm like, wait, don't do that, you know, because you don't want to scare a skunk. But anyway, so now I'm like, how do we get 2 skunks that are probably having babies under our back porch out of there? This is going to be disaster. Ooh.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
my husky caught her. Well, she attempted at a skunk, and she ended up getting sprayed. And she smelled skunky for a long time.
She's
And
a
then,
very
of course,
famous skunk dog.
yes, Russell came up with a whole like series of stories about skunk dog, and I'm like, my poor husky now has a reputation.
Skunk dog, that's hilarious.
Skunk dog.
It was awesome. That story was awesome. I read it. It is a great story. But speaking of stories, Fern, let's get Ann Charles talking about all of her books.
Yeah, let's do. Okay, so Ann, you're a writer, obviously, because you're on Author Talk. So talk to me about what kind of writing do you do? I mean, I was looking on your website and they all look awesome, but tell me a little bit about your different series and what you enjoy writing.
Oh boy. Okay. So if I get going too long tangent, just give me a hand sign, you know, pretend you're dying or something, and I'll shut up at any point. But so yeah, I started out trying years and years and years ago, trying to write romance. And I was horrible.
Do you have
at
any
it.
alcohols?
No.
I mean, that we learned.
That's
actually,
Amy's word.
Actually, no, I did. I used the name for the second book I wrote, and his name was Wayne. It's named after my grandpa. I thought it'd be great to have a hero named after my grandfather. My critique group hated him so much, they made me promise never, ever to use that name in any story ever again. That's how bad he was. That's how bad I was, because I wrote this hero that they hated that much. Wow. So learned a lesson there. Didn't want to write. I tried writing romance. I tried really hard, but I just don't emote enough. I get to the point where I'm like, okay, let's just have a conversation and fix this communication problem, and then we can move on with our lives. And I'm not saying that's all romance. That's just me. My crappy romances were like that way back when. So I switched gears about book 5 and said, hey, let's try writing some mystery, because I always enjoy that more, you know, a little bit of suspense, you know, mystery, figuring out a puzzle. So I switched gears, killed somebody. It worked so much better than that whole romance thing. But because I love romance, there's always still a romance plot throughout, because I do like it. And as long as I can do it, you know, as a kind of a subplot, then I think I do much better at romance. If I just only have to deal with that, then I have a problem. But
and
anyway.
Let's face it. If you haven't contemplated murder, you really haven't been in love. I mean, you know, murder and love, they go together.
I think the murder thing came in about the time I was divorcing my first husband. So there might be a tie-in. I don't know.
Yes, those people needed to die. But you know, we're smart enough, Anne, to where we don't want to wear orange. It's not the new black for us.
It's not the new black. Right.
We can murder them in fiction. We can murder them in fiction as much as we want.
Right. So I kept trying. I mean, I kept working this, and it turns out, you know, I write mixed genre. These books are not one or the other. You know, it's labeled like the Deadwood mystery because there is mystery. And a lot of times you have to pick a team to be in bookstores or to be in anywhere. They kind of need somewhere to go. But early on when we were, I had an agent, we were submitting to publishers. They'd say, you know, could you choose mystery? Could you choose romance? Could you choose suspense? Just choose something. Quit throwing all this together and mixing it up. And that was back in the late 90s, early 2000s, when they didn't like mixed genres so much. They wanted to put it on a shelf somewhere. We didn't have Amazon where you could have all these different categories. It was just, we need to figure out where to shelve this thing, how we're going to sell it, how we're going to market it. So I was hitting walls all over the place. Wrote book 5, I wrote book 6, I wrote book 7, and finally at book 7, I had enough mystery, they felt, but then I threw in a little ghosts, and then I threw in, still you have that romance in there. And I said, this is what I do. I can't change this. So we had a lot of luck with a wonderful editor at one of the big houses, and we pushed all the way up to the final acquisition meeting. And then the marketing came in and said, it's set in the Midwest. We don't think there's a big enough audience. So that was like a year-long process. And, that tragedy was followed by me drinking too much wine. And then at a later time, not drunk driving, but I was driving down to Oregon, getting pulled over for going too fast. So it was like a bang up weekend of boom, boom, boom. But, I stood up, got going again, and thought, okay, let's do this whole independent small press thing and put the books out on Amazon. This was back in, 2010 when it was really just going, and boom. Started out that way, formed a small press with a partner, started building, and that book that was shot down won 2 big national awards. It was Nero Departed and Deadwood, and that book won a big award for mystery and a big award for romance. So nice. It was national awards, and I thought, let's do it. Let's try this. And, it just started that way. And for 3 years, I ran as, a co-publisher, and we had other authors. And then I realized I can't do all this. Like Amy, I had 2 kids. 2 young kids at that time. And there's only so much time of the day, and running a publishing house with other authors in it, and then writing books and publishing my own. I was hitting the limit, and a husband and a full-time job still then. So I was getting 4 to 5 hours sleep a night, drinking lots of coffee, Red Bulls, doing what I could. And I finally just said, something's got to go. And we decided to move to Arizona at that time, and I'm finishing a book, and I got this whole thing going. So like Amy, I'm piling stuff on all at the same time, making myself crazy, and just decided no more publishing house. So went forth.
And I love that I love that, because, so much of our stress comes from things we schedule on ourselves. We do have, jobs that, give us work, and we have to get it done. But there's stuff that we pile on ourselves that we can remove. And so I think it's a wonderful thing for people to occasionally just take time to look at your life. What can I remove? What doesn't need to be here? What is just busy and not productive, not actually productive towards our dreams. So I think that's awesome that you did that.
So yeah, it was a huge shift. I just took my own books and left. And I had a contract. Russell, you'll appreciate this. I had a big, long, like 40-page contract for my books that I had done when I formed this publishing house with my partner, so that I could do this. I must have had a loophole in mind from the beginning. So per the contract, I took my books, I left, and I started out then going to solo from there. So I went way off tangent, because I realized now your question was, tell me about the books and what kind they are.
I love that. I mean, we talked about the books and how they came
I think this was important stuff that you and Fern have talked about to start off with, because
fact, we like rabbit holes. So
okay, good. Yeah. I'm a rabbit hole queen.
We're good with rabbit holes. No, but I think it's awesome, because it's interesting always for our audience to know a little bit of, like, how did you get to where you are? Because every author's journey is different. And I love what you shared with us about the struggle with trying to get published with a traditional publisher, with one of the big houses, and the awareness of, how much time it took. I mean, you spent a significant amount of time waiting and going through the different steps and stuff before you realized, okay, that's not going to happen.
Right.
And so I think it's important. There's so many of our author listeners that are eager to get everything done, and they want everything super fast, but time, this is not a quick process. This
no, I mean, I started in the late 1990s, starting to try to get an agent and a publisher to go the route and do it the traditional way. I was kind of at that time frame before everything had shifted so much more, with indies being so much, a possibility. So yeah, there were 10 years there of trying to get in. I was just showing my kids a couple weeks ago, I came across a box full of the rejection letters from agents. I said, look at all these rejection letters I have. I mean, I was trying so hard to do the traditional and do it this way route, and I just kept hitting walls. And during that time, though, it wasn't, 10 years of just, I mean, I wrote seven books plus in that time that, some got published later after I worked on them more. Others will never get published. But it was all part of that learning and learning to persevere, I think, more than anything, and not give up. Because I had two babies during that time. In the mid 2000s, I had two little ones come through, and I wanted to be a good mom. I didn't want to be an absent mom. So there was a real pull. But, that was during the, 2008, lots of layoffs and stuff like that happening. Well, the company my husband worked for laid him off. He was one, and we had two little kids. So it was like, what are we doing? And we just decided, hey, you stay home. My job's secure. We got to keep going this way. So, the whole, I'm a mom. I have to take my kids are breastfed. I had to take the pump to work. I had to do the whole thing. But I had really cool employers that knew the situation and were working with me, and they were cheering me on this writing front too. They knew I was trying to do this for a living. So I had so much wonderful support from coworkers, managers, all kinds of people, family. Everyone was trying to go, come on, you can do it. Don't give up. So it wasn't just me. It took a bunch of people helping, and my husband was huge. I mean, that spouse, if the spouse is not with you, you're in trouble. But if you have the support and the help of someone, it makes a big difference too.
It certainly does. And I mean, it is. And many times people have this idea that writers are kind of in isolation. We work in our little hole somewhere, on our keyboards and stuff. But it's a team effort. Getting a book out there, getting your writing career done, it's a team effort. It's a community. And so
Right.
it's wonderful that you had that support. One of the things I was looking at when I was surfing your website, and that I absolutely love, is you have this link where you can download a book list in chronological order, like how you should read them, like the order
Right.
and stuff. And I was like, oh my God, I love that, because see, I'm the kind of person that has got to read things in order, because, I'm
Me
like
too.
that,
Yeah.
and so I just love that you offer that to your readers.
Well,
What made you decide to do that?
my worlds. So I have these different series, 5 series that I'm writing, and one of them I co-write with my husband, Sam Lucky. But they're all the same Ann Charles world. So they're, different stories, different whole things going on, but characters will cross over. In the Deadwood series, the best friend of the heroine is cousins to the heroines in the Jackrabbit Junction series. So she goes back and forth. So from early on, I realized, oh, hey, I need to really watch dates, because these books, if I'm having characters crossing over, we need real time, or readers are going to go, what? You got this all messed up, and it takes the fun and the real feeling out of the reality of, even though it's a fiction world, you want to escape into it and really get down in there and enjoy the whole world. So all the series have crossovers in one way or the other. So we thought, okay, let's list them in chronological order, so that if you're a real diehard like me that likes to really go, one, the start at the very beginning, you can read the first series, like the Undertaker series, which takes place in the 1870s. This is the prequel to the Deadwood series. So I just thought, maybe it's time to do this. And I had some readers who wanted to know, how does it all go? So that was kind of what happened.
Okay, I like that whole idea, but I also think it's a little funny. It's a little like, this is the order you do it. You need to do it in order. It's like my granddaughter, before she went on her beach vacation, she put out every toy and every piece of clothes in the exact order that they were supposed to be packed in. God help her mother if her mother packed them in the wrong order. Little does she know, her little sister twins are on the verge of destroying that whole organized world she's in.
Oh, yeah.
So, but I do love that concept. And also, I think it's amazing, as we wait for Fern to reorganize here. I think it's amazing that you have written so many books within the same universe, that's something you have to be conscious of.
Yeah, when I started out, this was not the plan. And I actually wrote, the first of the Jackrabbit Junction books.
Wait. Before you get too much in it, What is these series about? What is this universe? You haven't told us.
Okay, so, oh boy. It's a mix of supernatural, but then there's some that aren't. And then there's some that's really crazy shape shifting. So let's start time-wise. Then we'll go with the one I co-write with my husband, the Deadwood Undertaker series. It's set in the 1870s, Deadwood, South Dakota, just like the HBO Deadwood. I actually spent a lot of time growing up there. My mom still lives there. So that's why Deadwood plays such a role in my world, because I go there all the time still, and I've been there since I was a kid. But anyway, back then Gold Rush was on, so it's a Western feel, but it's also supernatural, because the Deadwood world that I started way back when is a supernatural world. So we've got creatures of all kinds, including ghosts, but that's not just it. There's just all kinds of crazy creatures and more and beings coming into this world. But it's the 1870s. So we mixed a Western with this whole supernatural crazy stuff, which is so much fun. I enjoy Westerns, but I also love science fiction. I love suspense. I love, supernatural. So boom, we're doing it all together. So that's one. And then you go 100 plus years later, and it gets longer the more we go into the future, right? 150 now. And there's the contemporary Deadwood that I have, which is set now, close to now. I mean, keep in mind, I started writing this back in the early 2000s, but it's an ongoing. We're going on book 13 next in that series. And it's contemporary with Violet Parker. She's a real estate agent with 2 young kids. She's a single mom. The dad was a piece of crap that didn't want anything to do with them. No offense to men. There's other great men in the series, but that's the way this starts. And she's just trying to raise these 9-year-old twins and do the best she can. And she moves in with her aunt up in Deadwood, and come to find out, Deadwood's full of ghosts. And if you ever visit there in real life, it's a real town. It's so much fun. There are ghosts everywhere. Every place is haunted. It's not, someone will come up to me, my house is haunted. And I'll say, well, I'm not really surprised, because just about everywhere in Deadwood is haunted. They had such a rough, and tumble history with the gold rush and all the stuff going on, that there were a lot of, deaths and murders. So if you like ghosts, it's a lot of fun. So anyway, here's this whole series of this woman trying to make a living, but every place she sells, so many of these houses are haunted, but she can't see ghosts. She seems to be a dud. So you're only in her head. You have to go with her. Do you believe this person that there's a ghost here, or do you think they're crazy? Like she kind of does, So it's a lot of fun, because you don't know for sure. Like I said, we're only ever in Violet's head. So as a writer, it's so much fun to have that, where my lens is this, and this is what you're going to see, just through here. Now you determine what you believe, and, Vi's going to tell you what she believes, but you determine what you think. So that's the Deadwood mystery series. And as that continues on, she comes to find out she's not just a dud. She's comes from a long line of killers, and I don't want to give anything more away in the whole story. So it's more like, I'm a what, and so it just, as it builds to that, and you just keep learning more about Violet, and she's trying to do what she needs to do, because remember, it's a supernatural world in this mystery, supernatural, thriller, suspense, romance. I threw it all together. So that's the Deadwood series. Now the Jackrabbit series, Jackrabbit Junction Mystery Series, is set in southeastern Arizona, and it's the 3 sisters Violet grew up next to up in South Dakota have come south because their grandfather and his army buddies went down there to find some women in an RV park. They're lonely. They wanted a woman. So the first sister went down in the first book, Claire, sent by their mother and aunt to keep their grandfather from picking up a gold digger because he's got some money. So she's down there, and they don't want her. These 3 old army, guys, they don't want her there, but they treat her like one of them. So she's smoking cigars with them, playing, euchre and different stuff, just trying to fit in while they're going, they're not going to lighten up on what they like. She's horning in on their business. So that's how that all starts. And come to find out, this RV park was owned by this guy, Joe Martino, and his wife is now a widow, and Joe died a year or 2 ago, and she's about to lose the RV park. He wasn't the antiques dealer he said he was to her. He was really skimming. He was running stolen goods and then skimming off the top of all of them and taking treasures and bury them all over the desert. He has mines. He has all this stuff where he's hidden all kinds of these treasures. Only the treasures come from different thieves who are not happy about their goods not showing up and disappearing. And so they're coming hunting for the stuff now that he's dead. Well, Claire and now her sisters, as each book goes on, are all down there, all three of them. And here comes these, this is where the mystery and kind of suspense comes, is all these guys coming in, and not just guys, but killers coming in. They want their diamonds. They want their gold bars. They want whatever he stole from them. And they're going to find it. And they're at the park in the way where all these treasures are. So it's really a mix of Treasure Island, which I love, and some adventure. I always loved archaeology, Indiana Jones. So it's all a mix of that thrown together. But they know each other. And the best friend of the Violet in the Deadwood series comes down because she's the cousin of the girls and I say girls, but they're in their 30s in the Jackrabbit Junction series. So that's that crossover where we're going back and forth. And they know Violet and Violet knows them because they grew up next to each other. So then another series, let's keep going. So if you want to interrupt me, just interrupt me. But
no, this is cool. I love how they are connected, because that's when you create a world you're a world builder, right? You're a world builder. You created a world. And so now you can populate it in a myriad of directions, really.
Right.
So it's awesome that these all intersect.
Yeah, and I don't have supernatural or paranormal in the Jackrabbit series because I don't really need it. And, I don't know if someday that will happen, but at this point in time, I like having the different flavor a little bit for readers who don't want too much of that supernatural, but still love the mystery and the adventure and all that. And the Morgan sisters are wild and crazy. They're always landing in jail for different things. Sometimes they put themselves in jail because they're mad at one of the deputies or something, and they're just a riot. They are these three women that they love each other, but they're sisters at the same time. And their mom is kind of really crazy, a pain in the butt for them, but they're all dealing with all that together, and they're all down there in Arizona. So it's so much fun to write. So then I have Violet's brother. Quint is down. I can't think of the word, but photographer, goes all over, travel, National Geographic type of thing. And he goes down for a job down in the Yucatan at a Maya dig site where Dr. Angelica Garcia works. She's running the site. She's hardcore, it's not easy to be a female in that world. And you're pretty strict when you run a site. And her dad, Juan, helps her. He's an archaeologist too. Her mom was as well, but she passed away years ago. So anyway, we go down into there, and this is all a mix. This is your Indiana Jones, where it's archaeology, it's adventure, it's treasure hunting again. And it's supernatural because it ties in with Violet's world more because he's her brother. So we have some things that they're both dealing with. And so it's a whole other feel. You're down there. It's always hot and sweaty. I don't know, if you've been to Mexico. Every time I've gone, I'm always hot and sweaty the whole time. So when I write this book, I like to write it in the winter because then I can be nice and hot and sweaty when it's cold here in the mountains. But anyway, so we have this whole tie-in with the supernatural and the mystery. And she's, like I said, he's Violet's brother. So he shows up in Deadwood, and people keep waiting for Violet to go to the Yucatan. So we have that. And then the final one is a crazy quick novellas. It's the Silly Circus series, and they're shapeshifters, but they are the ones, shapeshifters on a traveling circus train. And these are the ones, they're not your normal circus. They're animals, but humans. They're not your normal circus people. There's a bear who swallows fire, but he's afraid of fire, so he struggles. There's a rabbit who can do all kinds of different voices, and he sits and he reads as a rabbit Shakespeare to the crowd. And he reads all this stuff, and they can shift into human form. So this is crazy cartoon world in my head when I write these. I just feel like I'm watching like an R-rated cartoon. How does this tie in with my others? You'll see, because one of the characters is creating this. So in time, we'll find out what's going on and why this is coming out. That's the whole thing wrapped up in one crazy world.
That is very cool. So talking about cartoons and illustrations, I noticed that you have like a little section too of like illustrations. So do you do your own drawings? Are you your own illustrator because your covers are really fun looking.
And my brother is an artist. So way back when I was trying to get into the big houses, you have to go with whatever they choose for your cover. And I was getting shot down, and then I got shot down by that last final time. I was deciding to go, kind of small press indie feel. And he said, and he's drawn since, he was a kid. I used to sit and watch him draw when I was 4 and he was 8. And he said, I'd love a shot at doing your covers if you're open to that idea. And I said, yeah, I would love that. By then he'd published in several Grateful Dead magazines with some of his art and different things. And so he drew 3 different covers for Nearly Departed in Deadwood, the first book we went with. We chose which one. I really love the creepy clown cookie jar with a skeleton hand coming out. That might be one of the illustrations I have in there. But we knew early on people don't like clowns, and they'll not they'll not buy a book because of a clown. Yeah,
clowns are scary. Yeah.
This was before it came out, and I knew from the few people I talked to, we can't go with the clown because nobody will buy the book. They'll go, no, people will, but a lot will. So we picked the one with the legs, which is the cover. And ever since, he's been doing all the artwork. So he'll do different pieces of artwork. We'll come together with the idea. He'll do the artwork, give me the original art, which he does with colored pencil or whatever medium he wants.
Can you put up some of the artwork? Because I mean, some of this is it's really cool, and it has a very definitive flavor, which I think works for your series. Because that's one of the key things with covers, of course, is that they have to say what the book is about.
Right. It's the brand. Yeah. It's the brand. And I've actually, a wonderful thing, had Amazon reps, different ones that I've talked to, like when Kindle Worlds was out, saying something about, I know a book that's Ann Charles just by seeing the cover alone.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And that is the power of branding. So you've done a really great job with that.
Well, it's just all him. He's the illustrator. And then my husband is, we've had different graphic artists over the years taking his art, making it. But now for the last about 4 or 5 years, my husband's the graphic artist that works with the art and then creates the covers. So we have a good team. We all work together and have fun.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Well, and hopefully Amy can put up a couple examples before it's time for us to go.
I know my computer was running slow, and yes, Russell, I closed all of my windows. I don't want to hear it. I did close it. I did. I know. Do more better. I know.
Mm-hmm.
I got it. Okay, I got it. It's
so yeah, we do, and every book has just about every book has illustrations. His illustrations throughout. I do about 6 to 8 that he'll draw. They're inside the books. So he goes forth and, we talk about what illustrations I want, kind of space them out through the book. And I give him some ideas and then say, go forth and draw, because, he's an artist just like, an author is. And if you give him the freedom to really think about, what he wants to do, it's so fun to talk to him, because he'll go, I see it from this perspective. I see this. I think if we bring this up, it's just a whole other way of viewing it that you don't even think about unless you're an artist. So, but yeah, you can see so many of the books are his drawings that, it's so much fun. And I'm big on working with family. My sister-in-law is my right-hand assistant. She does all kinds of stuff, helping all the time. My oldest sister is my bookkeeper, and she also sells the books at different events in Ohio. My brother's the artist. My husband, it's our business together. We both do all kinds of things. Kids help out whenever we, need them or make them at a book signing. They do their part. Yeah. My mom was our saleswoman in Deadwood. She's getting too old now, but she for 10 years helped me build there in Deadwood. So the joke is, when somebody new comes in the family, what are your skill sets and how can you contribute to this?
You need their resume, right? So you can see where they fit. See, I love that. I love that it's like a whole family affair, and I just love hearing the whole story. I could sit here and listen to you talk about, a brief summary of what all the series that you've created are and how they cross over, and you talk so much as if, they're the long lost BFFs, and you're just like, this is what's happened in this crazy world, right?
It is like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I know. I absolutely love it. We'll have to have you back on so we can dive deeper into it and all of your other books coming out in the future. But you guys, tonight on Through the Eyes of Authors at 7 p.m., we are doing a collaboration. Words are hard on Monday sometimes for me. Night. So come, and if you have anything that you want us to share, you want to celebrate, tonight is the night for all of us to get together and share each other's things and make it a social media collaboration party. So if you want to bring your own drink, coffee, whatever, I'm not going to question what's in your cup. Okay. It's 1 hour for us to kind of see how we can celebrate and share everybody else's stuff going on in the group, because we want to make sure that we are the group effort, right? Sharing is caring. In Amy's world, that's how we function. That is tonight on Through the Eyes of Authors. But closing comments, questions, statements. Russell, I'm going to kick it to you first.
Okay, Anne, great job. I love the way you described your universe. Fern will enjoy listening to it later. Would you tell the listeners one more time where they can find your books?
So the easiest place is my website, the one that Amy and Fern put up. It's www.anncharles.com. And there's no E in Anne, it's just anncharles.com. And you go to the books page and you can see them all and the links to the different platforms, because we're all over the place. I hang out on Facebook a lot. I'm older, so I'm moving into the new ones more and more, but Facebook is still where it's easiest for me, and I have a lot of fans there, so and reader friends. So you can find me there, but I'm also I've done a little on TikTok, getting into that, Instagram. I do a lot of photography there, all kinds of stuff. So I just look for me out there, and you can usually find something with Anne.
Yes.
Oh, thanks, Amy.
The link is down in the comment section below. And for all of y'all listening, it is in the description of what you guys clicked on. But Fern, closing comment, statement, questions from you.
I'm just excited of all these series. I love the crossover and the way they're all connected. I'm going to enjoy getting to know some of these awesome characters. And yeah, I'm just hoping that my internet doesn't decide to just cut out again later. Because,
I want to
power surge.
Add one thing. They are all in audio too. I have ebook, print book, audiobook. You can order them directly from my store and I'll autograph for you, to your mother, how much you're a wonderful kid, whatever you want. But it's all right there. Like I said, links are on my website, and there are more out there that I don't have.
No, I love it. Absolutely love it. And thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come and talk to us about your books. Like I said, we're definitely going to have you back on, because this has been a wonderful conversation. I know that we all are dying to dive in deeper, but we are on a limited time schedule. Right. No one wants their time not to get involved. Okay. So, but we hope that everybody has a fantastic Monday, a great rest of your week, and we'll catch you guys all next Monday. Bye, everybody.